It's a new dawn, a new day with new opportunities here at CBS Breakfast Show. My name is Raphael wangutusi.
My name is Danflow, lindwe.
And as is the custom, we are starting you off with the newspaper review this morning. First of all, we are starting with the Daily Nation newspaper. The headline is Top Security Chiefs Dance with Politics. Now, according to what has been happening, Inspector General of Police Douglas Kanja was recently recorded during one of the rallies saying the following words. Are you happy to see our president here? Do you want him to come back again? We are still doing our work. Now, this was spoken using his local dialect, and it has raised a few question marks about the integrity of the police service and what is being done to prevent such. What else, or what do you think about this, and what else is happening on the Standard?
I think that video by Douglas, the IG of police, it also shows that it also raises the question of whether the IG actually understands his mandate as the IG of police. And also we've seen the NPS respond to that video, and they're saying that it is actually AI generated. So it's like it was manipulated. I think if I was the IG of police and there's a video circulating that is putting my integrity and whether I understand my mandate into question, I'd investigate that, make an arrest, because now this has caused a lot of uproar on social media.
Definitely, and Inspector General of Police is not the only one. It's not been only Douglas Kanja on this. The Chief of Defense Forces General Charles Kahariri also said the following words, and I quote, "So when some people say they are tired of this government, a government they are elected or they elected on their own and say must go, that must go must be done according to the Constitution." Now, this is another security official stating this publicly. Now, lastly, the National Intelligence Service Director General Nudin Haji also said the following words. "Divisive politics has found a new breeding ground on our social media platforms. This is polarizing our people and undermining national cohesion. Yet national cohesion goes hand in hand with national security." Now, all these security leaders are being put on the spot by the Law Society of Kenya on their integrity and why they are not being apolitical by involving themselves in national politics. What else is happening in the dailies?
Also in the dailies, we're having President William Ruto still on his tour in Mount Kenya. Yesterday he was in Nyandarua, and we saw so the Standard goes with the headline "People's Wrath." We saw him in Nyandarua, and there were jeers, there were the heckling, yeah. People are not happy, particularly when his ally Kimani Ichung'wah, that is Kikuyu MP, when he rose to speak, there was a lot of heckling for him, and he had to stop and cut short his speech.
Yeah, that's quite interesting. Interesting developments happening. As we have been sharing with you, the president has been on his 5-day tour of the Mount Kenya region. Today is suspected to be his last day of the Mount Kenya region tour, and we are waiting to see how that unfolds. Now, moving away from the political scene, or moving closer or deeper into it, a bodyguard for all seasons. That's the sub-headline here on the Daily Nation, whereby the loyal AD of former Prime Minister Raila Odinga is being eulogized by different political leaders. Now, according to the Daily Nation, of many things that former Prime Minister Raila Odinga remembers about his departed AD George Odwor, his situational awareness emerges as the most outstanding. Now, according to former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, George Odwor has been with him as an AD from 1995. This follows after the passing of his father, or his late father. Now, according to how things have been going, he has been with him for quite some time, and as CBS News, we are also sharing our condolences to the family as we await to see how much more will happen in this developing story. What else is happening?
Another key story to highlight is food security in the country. We are having fertilizer hiccups, which are threatening food security in the country. So far, last year we had also fertilizer issues, particularly with the quality of fertilizer. But now for this year, it has nothing to do with the quality. Rather, it has to do with the delays in distribution. So far, the NCPB says that they have up to 1 million bags of fertilizer across their different depots in the country. But what is causing the delays? They say that there has been a surge in the number of farmers in the country. So if maybe a large-scale farmer wanted 50 bags of fertilizer, they can only get 25 for now, and they're told to come for the rest of the bags later. So there's rationing of fertilizer to ensure that each farmer at least gets a bag or two, so that food security also is ensured to be safe. Yeah.
Nice. Now, talking about security, we are getting into a different topic now, and another Kenyan has been arraigned or has been arrested in India after being caught with 270 million shillings worth of cocaine. Now, this comes only a few weeks after another lady was caught in Vietnam, and the case is still ongoing. Now, according to the Daily Nation, a Kenyan has been arrested while allegedly trying to smuggle cocaine worth 270 million shillings, as I have stated with you. This is $2.1 million worth of cocaine. Now, we are waiting to see what the Foreign Ministry will have to say about this developing story and what is being done to curb or prevent the smuggling of drugs into other countries and what this means for our diplomacy. What else is happening on your side?
Also, we have the Star newspaper today, and for the Star newspaper, the top story is Trump slaps our coffee, tea, and clothes with the tariffs. So this has been a 10% tariff increase, and of course, this is going to impact our revenue, because for our imports to go into that country, it will now mean that the prices will be higher, and that will make our goods expensive in America. Might that might actually affect whether the purchase of Kenyan goods in America, because now the minute our goods are expensive, that will make our goods not sell. But we're seeing a reaction from Kenyan.
Yes, we're getting a lot of reactions from now the Kenya Foreign Ministry, whereby Foreign Affairs Principal Secretary Korir Sing'oei downplayed the impact of the new tariff, saying Kenya still faced one of the lowest rates and was grouped alongside the UK, Egypt, Morocco, Uganda, Tanzania, and Ethiopia. Now, according to Korir Sing'oei, Kenya has only been tariffed 10%, which is quite favorable compared to all other nations which have also been taxed. Now, when it comes to this, different commodities will definitely be affected, and we're waiting to see how this will play along or play out as we continue with this. Now, according to China has vowed countermeasures to safeguard its own interests. If the US does not immediately cancel the latest tariffs, in Wednesday's announcement, the average US tariff on Chinese goods will be 76%.
That's
now,
a lot.
Yeah, it's quite massive compared to Kenya's 10% and now China's 76%. These are quite big numbers. But if you're to put that aside, also another developing story that took place yesterday is the Department of Government Efficiency, launched by Elon Musk to cut down on government expenditure, also launched or cut down 2 new funding, or just to make it simpler, money that was coming into the country from the United States of America has also been cut down. We are waiting to see how this unfolds, but it has mainly affected the areas of financial advisors and also aviation advisors, both in Kenya and in DRC. So we are waiting to see how the politics of Kenya and America will be transitioning, or how it will be progressing going forward. What else do you have?
I also have a story of, I think the Nation highlighted this story, where we have 44 billion shillings that has been input into the health sector in Kenya. So this money comes from the United States. This comes also at a time when USAID, the funds from USAID have been cut. This money is to be distributed among different institutions that conduct medical staff in the country. So I think that would be a good thing, to see more money come into the health sector.
Yes.
But this money, we're not seeing it go into places like, availing drugs. We're having issues of even HIV drugs, even drugs for babies. We also recently had an issue of immunization for babies.
Yes.
So a lot needs to be addressed, particularly in the health sector. Yeah.
Nice. Interestingly, as you have also mentioned, in the Daily Nation, there's also a few other key developing stories. Now, On the top left, or on the top left of the newspaper, Moi family farm loses geothermal license. Now, as we have been communicating and sharing with you, there has been a lot of developments in the energy sector. We've been experiencing blackouts, or we have been addressing the issues of blackouts, talking about how despite having enough geothermal production in the country, we still have to import electricity from Ethiopia. Even though it's just 10%, it helps stabilize the Kenyan grid. But according to the Daily Nation, an independent power producing company owned by the Mois suffers a blow after court revoked its license to undertake exploration at geothermal development company projects in Menengai, Nakuru County. Now, not that we're talking about Nakuru County, there's been a lot that has been happening here with Susan Kihika, and we're waiting to see how this story develops. What do you think this means for the county specifically?
I think, of course, the governor has been under fire, and she has the right to her maternity leave.
Yes.
But I think Kenyans were only raising an issue of the health sector, particularly maternity, affecting women and young children, such that in Kenya we're having hospitals where mothers are sharing beds in the maternity rooms. Others are giving birth on the floor. So I think Kenyans were simply calling out for more input into the health sector. But as well, we are waiting to see when the governor will return, and if there have also been calls for her impeachment. And of course, we're already seeing a rift between the governor and the senator, that is Tabitha Keroche. And yeah, waiting to see. That is a developing story, and eyes on that.
Eyes on that for sure. Now, for all people, all of you interested in business news, Jubilee Holdings has new developments. Now let me just break this down for you. Jubilee Holdings Limited has posted a strong financial performance in 2024, recording a profit before tax of 6.2 billion shillings. Now, as you are aware, as an investor, as a stock trader, different institutions have been coming out with their financial results. Some are providing this in dividends forms to you as an investor, and some are choosing to keep the profits in order to stabilize their companies. Last week, the latest development that we had was Kenya Airways also announced their financial results. However, they also stated that as a shareholder, you will not be getting the dividends. You will not be getting that money in your pocket. However, this also promises a future for you as an investor in such companies. So for Jubilee Insurance or Jubilee Holdings, for those of you or those of our viewers who are investors, this promises better yields for the coming years, considering that the growth from 2023 to 2024 has been 124%. Consider that. So looking into this business developments, we will also be keeping you informed on this and other developments coming by.
And also on sports, we are having the Daily Nation, the Standard actually, highlight a story where our runners are supposed to represent Kenya in Jamaica, Kingston. So we have athletes. So Mora Ngetich and Wanyonyi are among the Kenyan bigwigs featuring in the inaugural track meets. So we are hoping they'll bring back trophies, bronze, and winnings, basically.
Yeah, that's for sure. And still on sports, come on, as a Daystar alumni, we have to share this news with you. Kenya Cup-bound Daystar Falcons are just this close to parting. Now, according to the Daily Nation, varsity lads secure maiden promotion but want to win champion title for the first time. Now, different universities have been competing in rugby, and this is one of the best teams that we have in the country when it comes to varsity sports. Now, the Daystar Falcons are set to play this game this coming weekend, and we are waiting to see just how that unfolds. Will the Daystar Falcons come out with a trophy, or will we see a different situation? We are honestly hoping for the best. The Daystar Falcons will definitely win, and all the best to them.
Also on sports, we have Shujaa facing relegation playoffs ahead of Singapore 7. And so after a red carpet entrance back to the World Rugby 7 series, Kenya Sevens faced an almost immediate setback of being relegated back to the Challenger Series. So we hope all goes well for them, and we'll be on the lookout for that.
Nice. And lastly, on the sports, we have been having a developing story in women's football. Now, USA is set to host 2031 Women's FIFA World Cup and UK to stage the 2035 competition. Now, according to how this is set up, these are two bidding companies, and we are waiting to see who will get the bid and how will they be setting themselves up for these games. Now, according to the Daily Nation, the United States will be hosting or will host the nation for the 2031 World Cup. FIFA Presidential Gianni Infantino said yesterday. Now, Infantino has announced that the 2035 Global Soccer Competition will take place in the United Kingdom. We're waiting to see how this development goes, considering that this is 10 years away. So you can see the weight that this holds when it comes to women's sports, when it also comes to football and the Football Federation. Now, that's what we have for you in terms of the newspaper dailies today. We hope you have gotten a few insights, you've gotten warmed up. It's a chilly day outside, but we are keeping you warm inside here. My name has been Raphael.
My name is Danflow, lindwe, and please ensure to grab yourself a copy of the newspaper today on your way to work.
Yes, we will catch you here same time, same place tomorrow, CBS Breakfast Morning Show. Stay tuned.